We're going to start. Hi, guys. Welcome to an episode of Prop Live without Bill. We'll have to come up with a new name for that. The Bill-less Prop Live. Sans Bill. He's in the chat, though, as PunishedProps. You guys can bug him there. He's downstairs working in the shop on some top secret projects that probably aren't really secret at all. He'll probably just show you pictures of what he's working on. And it's so great to see everyone. There's quite a few people in the chat and got a couple of viewers. On this episode, I have officially started my Dragon Con cosplay, which is good because someone kindly pointed out on Facebook that it is 100 days away, only 100 days to make my costume, which is not enough, but it will be fine. I'm sure it'll be great. It's one of those reminders that I needed but did not want to hear. What are the guns on the wall behind? Oh, so the ones, is it right there? That's Eagle from Mass Effect and the Paladin from Mass Effect. That's all Bill's stuff. On the shelf back there is the Destiny hand cannon. Our living room is full of weaponry. Whenever we get a stranger at the front door, they always comment on it. So it makes it an interesting time. Yep, hand cannon in the background. So for PAX Prime, which is the week before Labor Day, and then Labor Day weekend, which is Dragon Con, are two big conventions that Bill and I are planning for, where we want to, at least I want to have a new costume. And I love Destiny, and I really want to do a Destiny Guardian costume sometime, but I'm not in a hurry. We just started playing DLC 2, and all the new armor is now my favorite, so I'll have to pick out some stuff to make from that. But for Dragon Con costume, I really love the Vex. They're a really cool robot race. Let's see if I can go over to my reference image. Yeah, if you haven't played Destiny, that's one of the races you fight. It's called a Vex Goblin. I really like that unit. They're just a pain to fight, but they also make really cool noises, and they have a really cool weapon. I instantly wanted to cosplay it. And it's not really human shaped, so it'll be fun trying to make it fit. And that's kind of what this episode is about, trying to find a way to make human fit inside the shape and have it still have that recognizable silhouette of a Vex. And I think we can pull it off. I think it'll be great. All right. Let's see. Let's go back here. Look at this. I'm using XSplit for the first time. It's a pretty awesome setup that Bill uses to switch between references for streaming. This is awesome stuff. All right. So I actually have, let's do this. Bloop. Bloop. Yeah. For those who haven't played Destiny, this is a video that I took back in November. I was planning on starting this project a long time ago. Instead, I had Emerald City costume thing I did before that, and the Goblin got put on the back burner. So this is Bill and I playing on our alts back in November, and he was taunting a Goblin for me because I was trying to get references of the back. And this is the kind of thing you do when you need costume references. And you can see like just the way they move. They have a cool hand attack they do with their left hand where it lights up. I really want to do that. And we're just getting, I was able to take this footage and grab screenshots from it and get some good references of the feet and the back. Oh, they're so cool. I will also be making the awesome weapon. It will be sweet. I was getting annoyed at Bill because he was actually doing damage to him. It's like, don't kill him. I need this reference. Yep. Yeah, you can see the way they walk. They always have their legs crouched. He can completely turn around. I won't be doing that without moving my legs. Oh, Bill killed him. Hooray. So the process I go through for starting a costume is first trying to figure out how to get the silhouette I need if it's not a human form into my form so that I can wear it comfortably and also have it still look cool. So I have opened Maya. This is an Autodesk 3D design program. I went to school for 3D modeling. This was back in 2000 to 2004 when there wasn't really a program you would go to for school for video game design. So that was fun. I met Bill there. I met a lot of really good friends who we all moved out to Seattle together. But one of the programs I used in school was Maya. So I'm fortunate to have that kind of background. I'm not that great at it. I can only do a couple things in it fairly well. But for figuring out how to do a form around a kind of like a human shape, it's really useful to have that kind of tool set. You can do the same thing if you have a full mannequin, like real life duct tape mannequin, or just any kind of one that's basically your shape. You can take paper templates and put them over the form to get the kind of armor bits you want. But with 3D, it is so much faster. So this is a human mesh model that I made in the program called MakeHuman. It's a free program where you can quickly just size and scale a human model to sort of your proportions. You really can't get that detailed, but I just really wanted the height, and like I have really long arms and like a longer waist and all of that. And so let's see. Boop. The plan is to wear a black bodysuit and to just give that kind of negative space. And anywhere that I actually want like piston things showing, I'll actually paint on the bodysuit. So like the legs look really thin. And yeah, arms have some thin bits too. So I will have a solid black bodysuit and then paint on parts I want, and then the rest will be armor over it, attached to it with straps or snaps or Velcro. It's undecided at the moment. All right. My chat isn't streaming. I wonder if I got kicked. Someone in the chat say something? Maybe it's just me. Maybe everyone's just really enthralled with watching me 3D model stuff. I'm sure that's what it is. Let's see if we have any questions. Ha! Wow, Bill, you're better looking. Yeah, that's me. Oh, hey, we're getting some more people in here. Cool. Is that lighting effect in the lower torso? Oh, yeah. So the old gamers rule is using the Google Hangout Q&A app. If you guys want to ask questions, you can post them in there. I'll try and keep an eye on the chat, but no guarantees. This is what at Bungie they affectionately call the juice box. It's the critical hit point to the Vex. So if you see one running around that has this glowy thing, if you shoot it, they explode into white glowy goodness. Like it just splatters everywhere. So it's their weak spot. So that is one of the challenges of this costume is there's going to be this cool, the light kind of like flows around and pulses a little bit. I would love to get that effect. And also, I'll just show you guys what I have going on. I cheated. I already started doing this, so it's like watching a cooking show and they're like, I have the done thing already in the oven, and haha, the brownies are done. Okay, ta-da. So I'll just walk you through some of the things I've done here. So this is, most of this is just used for reference, and I'll just remake this by hand with paper templates. But what I did was I took my human form, and then I started placing all of these just really basic shaped armor bits over the body to try and simulate this like thin waist. They have really wide hips, so you can see that. And stupid long fingers, trying to get that shape. So if we go back over well, I might be able to just, can I move this over here? Or will it freak out? I think we'll be okay. Let's do this. So you can visualize. This is a really large part of when you're doing a costume design. You really have to spend a lot of time up front just trying to figure out how things work. If you don't, you're going to pay for it later. So figure it all out now. It'll let you be able to order your supplies all in one go because you can make a list of all the things you need. There, you can kind of see what's going on there. Okay, so let's start with the feet. Tony has a question about Maya. How long did the Maya modeling take you? How much prep are you putting into before you start the build? This model probably just took me a couple hours, and that's just because I'm really rusty. This is Maya 2016. There's a student version you can get, but I think it is it's like the 2013 version. I don't know. It looks different. This is way more fancy, and it took me a while to get used to some of the new features that they have. But Google's your friend. I just kept looking up, like, why isn't this working? And found forums that had the answers. So this was a couple hours of modeling, and I'll probably poke at it some more. Some of this I'm going to, like the headpiece, I'm going to take into Pepakura Designer, and I'll show you that later, where I will make a template, print it out, and actually make it out of paper. It's eventually going to be a foam piece, but I want to make sure the size is right because this is a super important shape that is very curved and it's going to be really hard to just freehand. So, all right. Yeah, for the juice box, I am thinking about using a LED strip. I was just looking at those on superbrightleds.com. There's like side lit LED strips too, which are crazy. So instead of the light coming out the top of the strip, it comes out the side. So that might be easier if you're doing like a wraparound thing. I don't know. I'll talk to my consultants who have done this before, like Bill, and get the best information for that. All right. So let's see. I think I have a good foot reference. Let me cycle through these. Oh, that one's pretty good. So some of the things you have to think about when you're putting a costume together is you want it to look like the reference, usually, unless you're doing like a twist or making it different on purpose. And you also want it to be comfortable and wearable. I don't want to be that person who has to put on their costume at the convention and just stand there and not be able to move. I've done that before. It's a different kind of experience, but you're really just a statue. And so I want to move around comfortably, but I also want it to look like the reference. So this first challenge is the feet. They have that, what is it, that digigrade, their heels up in the air. It's like they're walking on their toes kind of thing. So I could do that. And then I would be trying to balance while probably not being able to see very well and become pretty fatigued quickly because you also notice they never straighten their legs. They're always crouched a little bit. So that's going to be a workout in itself already. And that's something that I don't want to try and like have my leg back here with a fake leg in front. I want to actually have this be my leg. It would just be easier and look better. It just requires me to work on my core strength, work on those thighs, so that I can, when I walk around in pose, that I'm always crouched. What I'm not going to do is this little foot thing. Instead, I'm cheating. I'll show you. Aha! Oh, let's see. Why can't I click on you? There we go. Okay. So, human feet. And then the Vex feet, haha. So I'll be wearing black shoes, like black sneakers. And the coloring is so light and like coppery that I don't think anyone's gonna notice that my feet are on the ground. I'm already pretty tall. I'm like a 6'2". So I'm just going to pretend that my feet are like that and not really walk around like that. And it'll be super comfortable as these weird shapes are gonna be. So I'll just be wearing normal sneakers, black bodysuit. These little foam bits will just strap over the sneakers. And these, I'm thinking, are going to be some kind of really dense foam that's already black, so I can just carve the shape, and if they get stepped on, they won't wrinkle or crack. They'll probably just get a little fuzzy, but that's fine. So either that or like a rubber, just something I know I'm probably gonna be the one that steps on it. If it's not me, it'll be someone else at the convention. And so yeah, so instead of like, it's kind of hard to see in this picture. Let me get a different one. Yeah, that one's good. This is one that was on the Bungie website. They have their little 3 feet things, and like, and these feet like raise up when they walk, so like a chicken, how they like curl their toes. But I'm not going to do that because they're just going to get stuck like that, and then I'll trip on them. So there's going to be a platform, and I'll just slowly shuffle around. The other plan is to make it so like all of these pieces, maybe I'll make it so they're kind of all have an underform that the shoe slips into. I haven't decided yet. I think that might be good because especially DragonCon, there's a lot of really small hallways that funnel you through the convention. The convention is 3 big hotels, and in order to get through the hallways, I'm going to have to take my shoes, these feet things off if I want to move well at all. So it would be great if I could like slip my sneakers out of some kind of form and then just carry those 2 forms with me, like with my head off and the 2 forms just holding them. And then I could walk around fine. And then when I get where I'm going, I can set these down and slip my shoes into them. So I might do that. We'll see how it goes. All right, so that's my plan for the feet. So the legs, you can see, I've already started doing the forms. I have to make them a little fatter because I'm a human, not a skinny robot, but that's fine. Knees, I kind of getting a basic placement. Looks like there's a lot more bits up here. A lot of this model I'll have to tweak. And this looks like super straight because it's a human form, but this will be more bent as I walk around. So I just have to make sure that these won't clip together. Yeah. Yeah, and then I got just like some big hip pieces. They don't have any, they don't have any, like, there's nothing here. They don't have a thigh. It's a giant like piston thing you can see in that reference. And that's just what I'll paint on the bodysuit. And then like my leg will fill this void, but it'll be a black bodysuit. So your eye won't be drawn to it. Plus it's gonna have cool glowy stuff on it. So their eye glows and their chest thing glows, and they have a cool hand glowy thing. So that's where people will be looking. So for the torso, I'm trying to simulate the idea that it's actually thinner than it really is, which is tricky. I've seen some cool like special effects things that people do. I think what it's really going to come down to is I'm just going to have to make this exaggerated a little wider, and then make the hips wide so that it kind of makes my torso look a little thinner. But also I think these strips of color are going to make a big difference that aren't going to wrap all the way around. So it'll look like it really ends like more toward the center. We'll see how it goes though. It's one of those things when you start putting them on, you might get a better idea of how you want everything to work. It'd also be nice if I could sit down. So we'll see how much of this ends up getting painted on the bodysuit and how much of it is actual craft foam. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the shoulders. One of the things the Vex don't have is a neck, and you don't realize it until you kind of try and line these up. And this head should be down here. Like this whole thing should be like down, like his chin should be way down here. The whole head should be down here. But the problem is, I will show you in the side view, that is my head. If I move this any farther down, my head is going to clip through because I am a human. So like, boop, like, oh no. So like, it's supposed to be down there, but a human would not fit. So the other option is to move the shoulders up, but I already look, I'm already adding a lot of kind of like bulk there. And I can't really move these up because I have armholes. So I think what's just going to end up happening is I'm going to have a taller head than a normal Vex, and I don't think anyone's really going to notice unless they're doing side-by-side comparisons. Because I could move these up a little bit, but this torso can't really move up that much farther. It's one of those things you don't realize how much arm rotation you lose until you have like the really tight armpit area. And then my torso will probably be too long if I do that, because I don't want to lengthen. I don't want to lengthen this part too much. Why can't everything just be human shaped? I tell you, these designers making my job hard. Oh, you mean like boost them out, like? Oh, I see what you're saying. To give it more bulk, have the shoulders out even more. Yeah, and if you haven't 3D modeled before, it's not too scary. It's think of it a lot like a chicken wire. You just pretty much control a wire mesh, and you control the points and edges. You just move vertices around. It's pretty user friendly. There's a ton of 3D programs out there. One of the free ones is Blender. I am so used to Maya though. I could not. There's no way I could change. It's like, oh, it's different. I'm too old and set in my ways. Yeah. I think you guys are right. I think bulking your shoulders out a bit will be helpful in kind of giving it that meatier form. It's hard to see in this angle. Let's get a different reference. This is one. Can you tell I took this down the scope of my sniper rifle? Yeah, this is it's gonna be tricky. It'll be fine though. It'll be great. That's what I keep telling myself. It is great how much of this costume is exposed. I don't think I'm gonna get too hot. I have a lot of bodysuit showing. Like there's no the thighs, and the worst is like if you guys have ever worn craft foam gauntlets, they become like this swampy mess if they're the kind that wrap all the way around your arm. So just having one that's just on half of it is kind of awesome. I'll have to get some like black nylon webbing or elastic straps to use so they won't be as noticeable to keep those on, or maybe I'll just use snaps to keep them on. They're not going to weigh much. That way they won't, they might slide around. We'll see how it goes. Why is it instancing turned on? Oh, no, it is. Okay. That's something else you can do is cheat and only make half of something. And it's one of the things that is really hard when Bill and I started cosplaying. It was foreign to us. We were so used to having 3D models where you can just be like, oh, look, I made a thing. It would be great if it was mirrored on the other side. Bam, done. And it's like, in real life, you can't do that. You have to make a whole new thing. It's a pain. What'd I do? Oh, I screwed up all sorts of things. It's good. Hey, we got some more people in the chat. Hi, everyone. Oh, thanks, Bill. Yeah, feel free to ask questions in the chat, and I'm sure someone will have the answers. But if you have a specific question for me, you can use the Google Hangout Q&A app. Ooh, let's see. We got the epic fruitcake is making a Vault of Glass Titan. Oh, I love that armor. That's the one with the Titan helmet that has like a spoiler on the back of it, and it's all like Vex styled. Oh, I would love to get my picture with you in your armor and me and my Vex Goblin. That's another reason I really want to do this character is I know a lot of people are making Guardians, and I want to be a bad guy. And I want to hang out with the Guardians, so then we can take awesome pictures together and pretend to shoot each other. It'll be great. Awesome. All right. So something else is like when you look at the form, you're like, all right, that kind of looks like a Vex Goblin, and you don't realize how much I changed from a normal human form. So like here's the form of it like standing upright, like with a thin back, and then when this is on, it's like it adds a huge bulk right there. So it's like this huge, like I could keep stuff in there if I wanted to. It's going to be a huge empty cavity, which is fine because then the foam won't be flat against my back. It'll be better for breathing as well. But it just adding this kind of big like circular shape that the Vex have. They have a kind of like this little animation they do where they're all like crumpled up and they unfold. Let's see. Let's move this over a bit. Boop. Yeah, there, you can see that. Yeah, I can even bulk this up a bit more. And yeah, most of this won't get go through the Pepakura process. Some of the pieces will. So talked about the feet, talked about the torso. One of the next challenges I have are the hands. You forget how big they are until you look at a human hand. Fortunately, I'm only going to make one of them. Why make two when the other one is always going to be holding this gun? They don't drop their guns. They don't move their hand around that's holding the gun. So my plan is to make the gun with a hand form attached to the handle, like a permanent form, like a big chunk of like foam that looks like the fingers could separate, but they don't. And then I have my free hand and I just slip it in there to hold the gun. And then if I need to put it down, I can just drop it and then my hand's free and I can like text people and stuff. So it'll be a gun with a Vex hand attached to it and then I can just slip it off, which means I only have to make one hand. And that's pretty sweet because these fingers are going to be pretty crazy. Let's see. Okay, so another challenge with the hands is they have this melee attack they do where they put up their palm or left hand and they do like a force push, but it's a bright light and it looks all cool. And that like it's like I could try and get it to be that shape, but human hands don't really bend this way. Like even if this was the end of my finger, it's going to be more sloped like this, but it's fine. I mean, in the game, you never notice, like, because it happens so quickly when they try and blast you. These are all reference stuff. And they also, when they walk around, they collapse like this. So I decided to not worry about them collapsing and looking all straight when they walk around. Instead, I'm just going to pick in-between shape that's not completely like they're doing their force push and not completely flat. So that way I don't have to make any bendy bits. So I'll just slip in my hand and the only hinge I'll have is where my knuckles are and the rest will be a static shape. And I do want to make it light up. And that's something that Bill's brother Rob did with his Iron Man repulsor hand. He had a setup where when he raised his hand, the light on the palm would light up. And I would love to do that for my my Vex. And so that's something that I've been working on since it is going to require electronics. I want to figure it out early. Oh, there we go. That's a really good reference. You can see it's just one of their awesome things they do. Oh yeah, sure. Bug Bill about questions that are not related to this, and if you want to, in the chat though. The Q&A app he doesn't see because he's downstairs in the shop, but yeah, just bug Bill about whatever. He's the one with all the answers. He is a wizard with lots of experience. All right, so I actually, let's switch this over. I have here, boop. Oh, now it fell apart. I have been doing templates for the fingers. This is all out of a 3mm craft foam. I did a paper template, and then I did a cardstock template out of just some old like greeting cards I had, and then transferred that to craft foam because I really want to get the size right on these. So when I get the LED strips that are going to go down the palm area, I want to make sure they fit. So I have to make this first. The problem is they, I don't know if you noticed, they don't have 4 fingers. They have 3 fingers and a thumb. So one thing I didn't do is it has to be like this. So I have to make sure this will fit 2 fingers, and it's pretty snug right now. I've already started adding some material, and they need to be bigger. This is also going to be a template. After I finally get a good shape, I'm going to tear it apart and then make new ones. But yeah, so it's going to be like that. So it's final form. These aren't attached yet. They're just stuck in here. But its final form will be curved like that. So when I walk around, I'll have this cool kind of like claw hand. And then when I want to pose, I'll lift it up and it will glow. It'll be like that, dink. So it'll be like normal, and then that. And it's kind of a nice in between. That way I don't have to worry about hinging stuff and having it be floppy or get stuck. So yeah. And this hand is going to be useless. I'm not going to be able to do anything with it during the convention. And that's fine. I'll have this guy. I mean, that's more than some costumes have. So I shouldn't complain. But yeah, I think this is gonna work out. And it looks pretty different than my reference. It's hard to type with a weird finger on one hand. This was just a little hand that I threw on there just to have that realization that they have really long fingers. But it looks good. Like when you look at it from far away, you're like, all right, the proportions on that make sense. But humans are not really shaped like that. Right, let's add those. There. Boop. Okay. So the hands, okay, so I think I got the hands figured out, which is great. Like, I'm not sure where the electronics are going to go. If I end up with a lot of room in the shoulders, maybe I'll put them there. Why not? Probably not the, probably don't want to put anything in the gauntlet, because those, just human tube arms, things just slide around too much. But we'll see. Maybe I'll have something small enough where it can go in the hand. They have, let's see, I don't know if I have any good references to the back of the hand here. See, there's a sweet back reference for the cosplayer making the Vex Titan armor from the raid. You'll notice the similarities in the back because all their stuff's based on Vex. We have similar stuff going on. So yeah, maybe some electronics in the top of the hand. We'll see. I don't know how big they're going to be. I try not to lay awake at night thinking of these problems, but sometimes that happens. It'll be easier once I get the whole hand done and figure out how all the pieces are going to fit. Might have wires running up my arm. We'll see. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it'll be on the same lighting system as the stomach thing. Apparently you can do that with the Arduino board setups. It can all be run off the same source. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is the head. If you know, this is good. How am I going to see out of this? That is the question. You notice eyes are right here. So the eyes are not looking out where the Vex eyeball is. It is above it. So my eyes are going to be, I think, conveniently. Oh, wait, I have that cool sniper picture. Where is it? There we go. This one's a lot crisper. I think I might be, let's see. I might be able to have it so I'm actually looking out of kind of like dark slits here, like maybe like 1/4 of an inch slits if these line up with my eyes. And this will be a big glowy light that's really going to be in front of my chin. It's going to be like way out there. And this is all going to be craft foam, so it'll be pretty light and it won't slide around. Hopefully won't slide forward. I bet it's going to try. I'll have some straps around my head to prevent that from happening. I do want to make it kind of easy to come off because I'm going to remove it when I actually travel around the convention. And that way people won't want to take my picture because they'll be like, but that's a weird human-headed person that's carrying a pile of foam. So I won't get stopped for anything. But yeah, so I'm going to have to make some eye hole slits, and probably wear one of those like full mask things, but like you're gonna be able to see my skin, I think. So maybe Draugr style, just do the full, what was it, morph suit, Zentai suit setup, where you're completely covered in cloth with your head. I'm not too fond of those. They smushed my eyelashes down. So I'll try and come up with another solution. Maybe just have like bandit eyes, like customize a bodysuit to cut out just the eye holes. So that way my like mouth and chin aren't showing. Yeah, I've done hats based on a hard hat before for attaching them, but it adds too much bulk. So just straps. I mean, like you think about what a hard hat's based on, and there are just straps underneath it. So like a strap going across, like all the way around the circumference this way, and then one down here, kind of like if you have a respirator, like the kind of like double strap that goes around the back. So like one that goes down and then up and then forward. And if it's one of those things where like you can tug on it and it will slide off, that's fine. Like I don't want it on there like super snug so it doesn't fall off. Also, when you wear really tight constricting headwear, after a couple hours, it will drive you insane. It just starts to hurt. Oh, Ender's awake. Oh, hello, buddy. Here. Oh. Well, you don't want to stream with us? Here, you can type stuff. No, he has a very large cat. I don't know if you could tell. Hi. Did you have a good nap? You know, there's a cat butt right in front of the camera. That's great. He has no help whatsoever. What? That's Buddha Cat. Half asleep. All right. Okay, you can. What? You can go. Whoop. Oh, just go that way. There. He's just a walking hazard. So So I started with the most of the geometry I have is like kind of like curves that follow the form, kind of just really basic shapes. The headpiece I started to try and block out a little bit. Another challenge with this head is it has to travel. It has to fit in a big crate that goes on a plane. So it can't stay as one piece. So I have to make this come apart and then be able to be put back together at the convention. Conveniently, there are these giant seams throughout the head. So I think I haven't decided which ones are going to be permanent seams that come apart, but I think I'm just going to have like lips on the back of the head thing, and they'll all just get stuck back together with like these overlapping. I think I have a picture of the back of the head. Here, let's see. I should have gone in the other direction. There we go. Of course, there'll be a human head back here, so this will be modified. But there's also a lot of like junk going on where I can hide overlapping seams. Yeah, there we go. Oh, these are gonna be cool. This will be fun to make. And it's all right if I have a couple extra seams here. I mean, you hardly ever get to see the back of a Vex because they're always turning toward you and shooting you in the face. All right. So I was starting to get my geometry to match this a little bit. My main goal with this piece is to get the size right. So put in Pepakura, get the seams where I want them to be, and print it out and hopefully the size is right. If not, I'll print it out again in a bigger or smaller size. But I really want to figure out where this is going to come apart. So I've started changing the geometry a little bit to start to match like these forms. Like this plate will probably come apart, and this will be where my eyes will be. So it'll be great to just make little paper templates of this and see if I can see how small of a pile I can make that will fit in luggage. So that way I don't have this giant shape, because this thing's huge. It's almost, it's the width of a human shoulder. So it's going to be, it's not going to fit in much. And plus I don't want it to bend, or what, I'm probably going to use Plasti Dip on it, but still you don't want it to bend too much because then it'll wrinkle. So, but I don't want the seam in the middle. Right now that's where it is. So let's combine this. Shows I haven't, I'm in the effects tab. That's why. I haven't used Maya in years. There's so many new things. Mesh tools. Ooh. Where's combine? I probably already went by it. Duplicate. No. There's a lot of really, oh, there we go. Okay, cool. It's funny, this program is amazing. It has tons of awesome stuff, but I just boiled it down to like six creation things. I mainly use the create polygon faces tool to create the original form. And then I add these little edges by either using the split selected edge ring or the one where you select a point on an edge and start cutting the face. It's like the face cutter. Sounds awesome. So, and all right. So I combine these, but not really. It's all a lie. They're really still two different pieces. You can see there's these two vertices are still separate. So let's move over here. I have to combine these guys. Let's just move this out of the way. That whole thing has to be completely redone anyway. Okay, hide the body. All right. So what's that tool called? Is it one of these guys? Pen faces. I wonder if that's what that is. No, I don't think that's what it is. Or is it? Let's see. Yeah, you append those faces. No, it's not working. I don't think it worked. Did it? Nope. Oh. I guess append faces now will add geometry in there. That's new. That's what happens when I take like 5 years off of modeling. Unless the combining did that. Let's see. Go back. Undo forever. There we go. All right. Nope. Yeah, that was the append faces. All right. Well, let's go into the settings and see if I can figure that out. Boop. Nope. There we go. Double click command. Yep. Well, I guess it's not the end of the world if it just works that way. It's just weird and different, and things change, and oh. Now, most of the stuff they added to this program has been awesome. It's actually a lot clearer what I'm selecting now. Before it was all like the same color. This is nice. So pretty much I'm just joining things together in a weird way that it's probably not the way I'm supposed to do it, but whatever. I'll deal with the fallout. Here, let's hide this person. All right, what did that do? yeah, that did not work as advertised. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I just assumed it attached someone it really didn't. Yeah, I didn't really do that. Gross. Merge vertices. See, I used to use merge vertices, but it takes forever. Oh, and also I didn't trust it. At least back in the day, they had to be, I don't know, super close to each other or something, or it would grab ones that were too far away. There aren't that many though. Let's see if it works. I think you can merge the vertices by, well, let's just see what it is. I like how there's 3D modeling experts in the chat. They're probably yelling at me like, I'm doing it wrong. No. Let's see what that does. Distance threshold. Did that work? Where'd my thing go? Hey! Awesome. I was making it way too hard. I wonder if the pen tool just isn't used that way anymore. Because yeah, merging the vertexes worked just fine. They're all together now. Hooray. Thank you for the tip. Props fan 12371. You are a huge help. Oh, hey, I have some questions. Oh, sweet. There is cool Vex Destiny armor progress pictures on the RPF. I will have to go check those out. Oh, how did I take my screenshots? Nate asks. Well, I got Bill to get in the game. We have two. I'd say we're spoiled, but for the longest time I was totally against this. But we finally have two PS4s. For some reason, like, it just seems so weird to buy two of the same console, yet we both have computers. Like, having two computers is normal, but having two PS4s just seemed weird. And now we have two, so Bill and I can play Destiny together in the same room, which is awesome. So I had him log on his account, and I logged on mine, and let the Vex shoot him a whole bunch. Actually, I have the video that I was playing earlier. Yeah, this one. So Bill's getting shot a whole bunch, and I just took video. And on the PS4, you can just take video with the share button. I think you just double tap it, and it starts recording the video, and you single tap and it ends it, and then you can upload that video to wherever. So then I just took this video and paused it and just took screen grabs from it on my computer. The quality is not as great with a video because it's all compressed. But for my references, it was fine. It's really hard to hit the print screen equivalent, which I think is just single tapping on the share button at just the right angle before they turn away. And you can do that. You can just keep mashing that to get the screenshots in higher quality. But for this video stuff, it was fine. Good enough. Yeah, look at that back. Him doing his Vex stuff. Actually, I haven't tried the Maya unwraps before. I'd like to. I won't do that on air because I've never touched it before. But I installed the Maya 2016, and it's like, it looks like it's a lot easier to do the UV unwrapping stuff than it used to be. So I would like to try it. But for today, I'm gonna switch over to Pepakura after I'm done with this, getting this guy all set up, and he's fine. I don't know if you see there's a couple little lumps there, but whatever. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is gonna be a template. I mainly just want the kind of the seams in kind of the right areas. So some pieces I'm going to go through and unwrap and print and use as templates, and other ones I'm just going to use this as a reference, like the feet. The feet are just so vague, and like I'm not going to model like the sneaker shape in there and then put stuff over. That'll take too long. So I just just kind of glance at this and then take a piece of paper and just wrap it around my foot and draw in it and get it that way. Same with these little spikes I won't do. The chest I think I will, just because that's such a weird shape. anything curved, I think is really good to use in Pepakura because that's really hard to recreate. It just takes a while in the reels space. Yeah. All right. I need to work on my Maya workflow. Thanks, guys. You guys are helpful. This is great. I usually have to Google search things like, why isn't this working? It's been forever. Oh, one of the other cool things that Maya has is a measuring tool. I have this distance tool set up where there's a locator at the feet and a locator at, let's see, at the top of the head. I probably want it at my head. What is that? It's 187 centimeters. So that's already kind of sized right. It's one of those things where I'll take some real life measurements for the head size just to make sure everything's scaled right. But what's probably going to happen is no matter what I do, when I print it out from Pepakura, it's going to be sized wrong. I mean, that's one of the reasons you do it. I haven't used Pepakura in a while. The last time was when I was making a Dragon Priest mask. I wanted to 3D print my Dragon Priest mask I modeled, but I didn't want it to be the wrong size. So I threw in Pepakura, did a quick unwrap, and glued it back together and held it up to my face, and it was too big. I had to scale it down a little bit. When I got the right size, then I 3D printed it, and that saved a lot of time and money by just doing these little template tests. And that's the goal of this thing. I need to make it so it comes apart, and I need to make it so it's the right size, and it seems like unwrapping it's going to be the way to go. I'll probably do the same thing with the chest. Arms and stuff, they're just like little flat things, whatever. I'll probably just do those, wing it. I don't need references for that. Yeah, the seam stuff I get for like in Pepakura, it's great for like when things are going to be faceted, so like that aren't meant to be curved, and if they're going to be curved, you have to create like fake seams that get glued together later. It's pretty good. I'm curious if Maya Unwrap you won't have to deal with that, because that's like, you know, when you see like a texture map that's unwrapped, it's all like a stretched creepy face. I would like to do that with my foam templates. I don't know if Pep has that option, but for today, we're gonna try that out. All right, so I'm gonna save this because we did awesome things to it. And when you're working in any kind of program, whether it's 3D modeling or Photoshop or any kind of thing where you're making changes, always have a numbering system at the end. So right now I'm on version 08, and every time you save it after you've done a big change, well, first of all, save it all the time. And then when you do a big change, save it under a new number, because back in my day, files used to get corrupted all the time, and it was a really good habit to get into. So that way you don't lose your entire model. You just lose the last day's work on it or last hour's work on it by having old files. And you can just delete the old files after a while when you get enough of them. So, okay. Well, I'm on 09 now. Excellent. Okay, so I want to export just this guy. We're not going to take the whole model over. Export selection. All right, I'm going to call this test 02. Head test 02. I was messing around with this earlier because I was trying to remember how to use Pepakura Designer. It's a simple program. It's just I'm using like a year. Okay, export. All right, so that's Maya. It's awesome. You can do anything you want in this. I mean, you can animate, you can do special effects. I just use it for modeling because that's what I learned. Although setting stuff on fire is cool if you ever play around with the special effects. All right, so I'm going to bloop. So Pepakura Designer, the Pepakura viewer is free. So if you get someone that like makes if you just like search for Iron Man helmet, there's some really cool Pep files out there. Let's see, what am I looking for? This that are already made. So like you don't have to make your own from scratch. You can just search for ones that are already made, and using the viewer, it's free. You can just view it, maybe make some, I don't know if you can make changes to it, but you can at least look at it and then print it. But I make make my stuff from scratch because I'm picky and weird, and I'm just usually using it for reference. A lot of them are too high poly that are already made. Like it's gonna look awesome if you spend like 10 hours gluing tiny little piece of paper together. It's like I don't need that. I just need to get the shape down. So let's see, what do I have? Head test 02. Why do I have two of them? Oh, one of them's the texture file. All right. Back faces are colored dark gray. I think I want to flip it. Ah. Brought in color. That's sweet. I didn't know I could do that. All right. So this is Pepakura Designer. Ta-da. It's very exciting. Oh, I forgot to say that question was answered. There we go. So many things to think about. So this program is like the default settings are just fine. It takes a while to get used to the shortcuts. I tend to just click on the buttons up here. Like you can do hit Control N to start dividing your faces, but I just click on the little zipper thing when I'm ready to do that. Except it's all grayed out. Why are you grayed out? Why are you unhappy with me? Oh, I probably have to unfold it first. No, that would make sense. Oh, either way. Sure. We'll unfold it and be weird. There we go. All right. So what the designer just did is I hit the undo, or I hit unfold. I can undo it if I want. It tried to be helpful. It was like, ta-da, I'm done. And I'm like, this isn't what I wanted at all. So then you just have to start customizing it. Also, you see it's way too small. This is a piece of paper. This is going to be, it would actually be kind of adorable to make one for Ender. He's asleep right now, but yeah. A tiny little Vex head thing for a cat, I think is going to have to be done. But that's for another day. What we're going to do is start to clean up our seams. So you hit this little zipper tool. It's the divide connect faces, and you just manually fix everything. Whoop. Let's see. I'll bring up a reference. You guys can kind of follow along what I'm up to. That one's pretty good. Move this over. I think I can. Yeah, we're not using that right now. Yeah. Look at us working on things. So exciting. So usually what I do if it's just like a curve like this, I like to just create strips. Since this is actually going to be a paper template, I don't have to worry about making sure the foam will curve back in on itself and look all pretty. The paper template I make will eventually be used for a foam template. It's all these extra steps. So I'm kind of creating these like little vertical strips just to keep everything in line. And you'll see what I'm going to end up with. It'll make sense. One of the things it does by default is kind of hides the almost flat faces geometry. You can turn that on and off, but it's if you mouse over it, it'll show you, so you don't really have to mess with it that much. All right, so the center's pretty good. All right, so I want this to be one piece. So I want to make sure I'm kind of keeping that form. There we go. So if you see this seam is that guy. And then each of these will print out separately and have little tabs on them, and I'll glue them together and I'll make this shape. And so then I want, oh gosh, you can't even tell anymore what that is. All right, let's see. Let's attach these guys together. Yeah, I see if you start to force them when there's a curve, it will automatically split them because it thinks you're going to make like paper and not something that can curve. So it's like, I'm being helpful. It's like, I don't want you to be helpful, but that's fine. Loop, loop. All right, that is, okay. Oh, good, that can all stay together. Whoops. All right, so this piece, this seam, bloop, 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 is this guy, this little triangle-y bit. And unless there's probably a setting I don't know about, but I don't think this program instances very well or at all. So you just kind of have to do the same thing over again on the other side. Or just do half of it, because then you have a template for half. I could do that. It doesn't look pretty when you do that though, when you're working on it. It's fine. There isn't that much detail. But yeah, I could just do like this side, and once I get that done, just use that twice, print it out twice, and then flip it. The problem is all your tabs automatically get numbered. So like tab 104 matches tab 104, or and then you glue those together. So if you use the same thing twice, you just have to make sure you don't mix up pieces. So this is fine. It's not going to use that much paper. Let's see. What was I working on? All right. Making sure those match. Okay, those match. I got like just a mess over here. This is this guy. This little wingling. It looks like it's not attached, but it's just a really big seam. It's attached on the back. So I'll just separate that. So this will be its own little separate piece. I don't really want weird seams though, so I'll just do this. There we go. So yeah, I like strips. I think strips are my favorite. So that way you don't have little crisscrossing seams throughout it. Topo Gun. I haven't used that program. I'm wondering if that's another unwrapping program. It's one of those things that's like, I think Pepakura even just means papercraft. So it's like I was kind of just assumed that this was the only one, but there's probably a whole bunch of them out there. I mean, people were doing papercraft before 3D stuff existed. All right, let's see. These vents will be cool to do. Just add on into the foam. I can make them real vents that circulate air. I don't even think that's gonna be touching my head though, so they will do nothing. All right, separate these guys. And there's, if you look on YouTube, there's a lot of time lapses of people unwrapping things. There's a really good one for a predator mask, or whole head of him unwrapping the model in Pepakura and in his process. And those are good to watch if you're just looking for a workflow, because we all just kind of develop our favorite and use it. And that's not necessarily the best way to do it. But mine works. And I'm happy with it. All right, let's see. So I got this triangle-y thing, and then this chunk. I could leave them like that, or I could do them this way. So they seem to be fine, staying together. Yeah. Give that. Okay, next I have to get is this chunk. I have to remember that was. I kind of messed around with some of the geometry before we started, and I probably shouldn't have. I moved some stuff I wasn't supposed to. I think it was this. Then it went over. Yeah, this looks like it's the wrong shape now, but whatever. Yeah, that won't stay together. This is going to be an interesting curvy thing that I haven't really figured out what I'm doing with yet. Like right there. Yeah, let's do that. I want to do the same thing on the other side. What was I thinking when I made that? That's not the right shape at all. That's fine. I'll just keep saying it's fine. definitely looking less chaotic though, which is nice. You can like go through and like add a texture and color stuff and like label things. And it's usually what people do is they leave Pepakura open when they print out their stuff. And when they're putting it together, they keep referencing the original file because I'll show you this unwrap thing is probably looking all weird now. Yeah, it looks very different now. So if I, let's see, I think it highlights it. Where are you? Maybe it doesn't. You can usually, oh wait, what are you? Yeah, there we go. So like if I select a piece here, and I'm like, what is this? It will highlight the piece in the model. So you're like, oh, okay, so that piece goes there. But also when you print these out, they will have the little numbers on them. You can also control the tab size. They're pretty big right now. Let's see if I remember how to do that. It's probably under other. Let's see. Advanced. No, I'm not advanced. Flap angle. Yeah, you can customize a lot of the stuff so it prints out all nice and pretty. It might be under print settings. Whatever, it's fine. I'm still working on stuff. Actually, I have to figure out the scale too. Change scale. There we go. Okay, so one of the little locators I had set up in Maya was for the head size of the actual shell. And it was about 31 centimeters, I think I have written down here. So that would be, let's do 315 millimeters height. And I think it automatically changes. Hopefully all the other numbers. There we go. All right. So that was under, if you go to the 2D menu options, you just go to change scale and you can just type in your own millimeter amount or just increase or decrease by 10%. That's good to use if you make something, it's like, oh, it's a little too small, you just pop that up. So now if you look closely, you can see that that's a piece of paper now. So this is now much bigger. If I just like leave this like this and print it out, it'll just print out this garbage. So usually what people do is they just click and drag it off just to get the mess out of the way. There. Now you can actually see what you're doing. Nate wonders if we will release the PEP files. Maybe if they end up being useful. This could end up being something where I print it out and it's like, well, that's not what I wanted at all, and I have to modify it a whole bunch, and then it won't really be useful for anyone. The important thing to do is learn the process, because then you can apply it to whatever you want. One of the things I didn't realize until I was doing research for this project is there's the Hobgoblin unit, the ones that have the sniper rifles and shoot you before you can see them and you die and you get really mad at them. They have these really cool long rifles. Their models are identical to the Vex Goblin except for the head. So it's one of those things where once you figure out the body for the Vex Goblin, you now have a template for a Vex Hobgoblin. You just have to redo the head. A lot of video games will do things like that where they'll reuse all the assets, which is nice. But yeah, I don't know. Like this 3D model might end up becoming a disaster. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, of course I'd share with people. It is, like I said before, I don't like working with, I don't like working with other people's stuff, usually their templates, because I have something very specific in mind. Like I know where my eyes are going to go for my head shape in this project. If I was using another template, I would just have to modify it a whole bunch. And you'll find that you'll end up, sometimes it takes way longer if you're modifying someone else's template than if you made your own. But it's like that for anything. The mouse clicking is probably driving people insane. That's too bad. It's a normal Logitech mouse. It's not the most quiet thing ever. All right, so if I wanted to start, let's see, start grabbing our pieces. Wait, that's how to rotate them. There we go. This is the select and move tool. So I select a piece in the 3D view, and then it highlights it over here, and I can drag it down onto my little piece of paper. And you know what? I believe the default is not for the normal letter size. I think I've made this mistake before. So if I go to like print preview, yeah, it says the size of the paper specified is not the same as printer settings, just scale. Yes. I think, or did I just change the scale of my model? Let's see. Nope, my model's still the same size. I think it just changed the size of my paper, hopefully. Because yeah, for some reason the default isn't the normal like US printer settings. So what will happen is you'll go through and make sure all these pieces fit on the paper, and then you go to print it and be like, haha, that's the wrong size. So then you have to go through and readjust them all to make sure they fit on your printer paper. How do I, let's see. There's too many words to read. Grouping, no. Oh, you can show the edge IDs. That's nice. Oh, and page numbers, I like that. Ah, never mind. Let's turn that off. You know what show edge ID did? Yeah, weird. Oh, yeah, you guys can probably hear the sirens. We conveniently have a fire department station close to us. So if we ever do set the shop on fire, they're only minutes away. But that means we hear them when they go out on their missions. Let's see. See, now I'm just looking at the same things over again. I'm like that when I look for stuff. It's like, it's not here, and then I'll go look again. Print and paper settings. Haha. Yeah, it's set to A4. So set that to letter for the default. Yeah, there you go. See, now you see that would not fit. So you don't scale these anymore. They're already at their set scale. So all you need to do is rotate them. There's a rotate part tool. It's Control R to use it. I believe you just click a spot and then click the other spot. Yeah, and it kind of turns into a hinge. And you notice if it goes down too far. Oh, my head's in the way. Yeah. Let's do this. If it does hinge off the paper, it will kind of like start to put it down on a new sheet. Be like, oh, you need extra room. And the goal is to try and get all of these on a piece of paper without getting clipped onto another one, because that's a pain to put back together. Wait, I want to do this. There. Ta-da! It's beautiful. There. One. So that's the bottom half of this spiny, you guys. So let's go find the next one. See if we can fit them both on the same paper together. Where are you? Where are you? This guy. There he is. Oh, you see it. This one has the tabs. So this guy, when you print him out, you'll cut along the edges here. And if you're using really heavy cardstock, you can then score the little bits where the tabs are going to fold if you want. If it's like a really slow curve, you don't have to worry about that because you don't need it to be super bendy. But if you're doing hard angles, like making a cube, you can lightly score the edges with like an X-Acto knife or any kind of sharp metal pointy thing with a metal ruler, and get some really clean, crisp edges. I believe Bill did a Pepakura video about that you can go watch as well. But anyway, so then you can use any glue. I've used Elmer's glue before. Super glue can be a pain because it'll just end up all over your fingers. You can use tape. I don't know what kind of glue I'm going to use for this. I used Elmer's glue for our Draugr helmets because I was gluing them right onto the craft foam. Because the craft foam I was doing like 4mm transfers, and that way I could just add water and the whole paper part just fell off because Elmer's glue is water soluble. So I was happy it was a temporary adhesive. But anyway, so then you just put glue on this and then overlap the tabs. There'll be a little number here. So this will be, it like auto generates a number. So this will be like 35. And then you match it to the other one that says 35. And that's how you figure out how they go together. You don't have to remember, but if you do forget like how the shape is kind of supposed to be, you can reference your 3D model and be like, oh, I see it's supposed to curve a little bit more. All right, so I don't think these guys are gonna fit together. That's why I want to change the flappy size because they're a little robust for my needs. I don't need them to be this big. And there's a way to make them smaller, but I'll just leave it alone for now. I'll probably go back to, after this is done, I'll go back to my 3D model and change things and redo this. So yeah, these guys are too big to fit on their own sheet. I could add a little split here, but I think I don't have that many big pieces, so I think I'm going to do that for now so that they'll each be on their own paper. And then you can start, grab this guy, whoop, start filling in available space. And it's fun to be like trying to be super conservative with your space, see how many you can fit on at once. Kind of becomes a little bit of a game. Let's see, I need you. There. You can fit right there maybe, if I move him over. Oh, and you can use arrow keys too, which is nice if you need to make small movements. Oh, there's so many chatty people in the chat room. Cool. Glad you guys are having fun. I know I am. I hope this costume gets done on time. I think it'll be I think next week is when I'll really kick into gear with it, because just doing this kind of template stuff makes it so you kind of get a feel for how hard the rest of the costume is going to be. And you do want to focus on a piece of it. Like you want to go through and kind of plan out how the whole thing's going to work. But like now that I've started on the head, like I'm going to get the head done first. Like I'm notorious for like working on a little bit until it gets annoying and then switching to like the feet. But I want to make sure like the head and the gun, I want to make sure look really good because those are the two most important parts. I don't want to leave those till the end or get them half done and not have time to finish them. So let's see. Got those guys. Oh, I'm going to use all of Bill's printer paper. He'll love that. I think I'm just going to use normal paper. I'm not going to use cardstock because I am just doing a sizing template. I might even just do half of it, like half of the head, and put it together just to see if my scale is completely off. It'll end up a little floppy, but you'll be surprised how much strength gets added when you have these flaps overlapping each other. Move that down. Actually, if I'm just doing half of this, I'm gonna start making a pile of the ones. So this is all the non-printable space. So anything you leave out here won't get printed. I'm gonna start chucking those over there since it's the other half of the head. All right, where are you? All right, we got this guy. We got this weird little triangle bit. Let's move those down. Oh yeah, cool. This rotating hinge thing is kind of weird. I'm not used to it. Click there, click there. Oh, that's nice. All right. I guess I could just grab chunks of these. Nah. What do I use? This little seam. What is this? Why is this? That's fine. I think it's just a suggestion that there might be a little bending there. That's all work out. Yeah, it's the kind of thing where like I haven't used this program in a while, so I'm rusty and slow and don't remember where everything is. But it is a very simple program, so you just play with it. Try and make something a 3D model from scratch using like Blender, or grab a 3D model from something. The Destiny has their app where they have like you can view armor and stuff. Someone took all the STL information from it and created the Destiny, was it STL generator, I think is the name of the website. So they have 3D models you can grab. They're for video games, so they're low poly, but they're great for templates. So for like a Titan helmet, you can get the 3D file for the helmet you like, and then put it in Pepakura and template it out. And then you have a template in real space, and then you use that to make your like craft foam helmet shape. Use it as a guideline. It's not like a final form type thing, but it can be refined. Or you could refine the 3D model before you move it over in Pepakura, so then you have less work later. I think Bill did that a bit for his Destiny Titan armor video live stream. He got like all the head pieces he liked. He got it through the Destiny STL viewer and put them all in Maya, lined them all up next to each other, and was like, hey, most of these are the same with just pieces that are changed around. I'm like, yeah, that's what you do for video games. You reuse assets in fun and creative ways, because otherwise it's a waste. And building stuff is expensive. So he picked his favorite one out of that and then just used that as a reference for the one he made out of foam. All right, this is starting to look like it's gonna be a lot of paper. But I guess, you know what? I could do this. To make it less daunting, I think if I zoom out, I can, can I just select a whole bunch of this? Oh, no, you have to manually click on them. If you hold down Shift, you can just Shift select a whole bunch of stuff. Let's move all of those away. Let's move them off this way. There. Whoops. There. I'm not going to deal with you. You're going over there. I'm just going to do the right side. I can grab them all. That's fine. Whoop. So they're all hiding over here in a big pile. Make a nice big pile. There. There. Okay. And if I move these guys down here, whoop, give me some more paper. I don't remember what this was supposed to be. I think I did change the geometry a little bit in a way I wasn't supposed to. That's all right. Let's do this. Whoop. All right, well, it looks like I'm going to just be doing this for the rest of the day. So I think I'm going to end the live stream because it's going to be more of the same, unless there's any more questions. Oh, yeah, you're welcome, Gary. Says, this is amazing. Thanks for sharing the background you have to do this, to make this happen. Oh, yeah. It's totally what I went to school for. It's funny how you don't realize the kind of things your major will help you with, because we didn't get into cosplay until years after college. And just having that kind of ability to look at a form and kind of get that silhouette down. Like, I'll hop back over to Maya for a little bit. For those who haven't seen it, just the idea where you take, zoom way out. There we go. You're like, oh, look, it's a Vex, but it's really a person. Oh, no, the head's not on that one. No, wait. Add selected objects. There we go. Okay. So there's the human silhouette, and then you transform it into a Vex silhouette. And just It's like that. Like if you do any kind of sculpting, you don't have to use 3D programs, but you start to look at things as the form, as like the whole shape instead of just as the tiny little details. It's like, don't do the tiny details, do those later. Just get your form down. It will always look bad at first when you start putting it together, and that's fine. You'll just eventually get the form down, and there's still stuff I want to change on this. Let's get a full body one. Every time I look at it, I'll see there's a butt. There we go. You'll see stuff that's a little different. And also, I mean, something to think about is there's like, this is the front view. It's like thinking of it like a drafting table. This is like a flat piece of paper of the front view of an object. If you go over here, this is a perspective view. So you start to get that camera scaling thing. So like the head looks a little bigger. It's like you're actually looking through a camera lens. And that's what all these references are. These aren't flat things. They're actual 3D models. So like using this in a little flat image is not gonna like this you'll never see in real life as a 3D object. It'll get those kind of like stretchy proportion things going on. So you kind of just like, I mean, you can bring these images into Maya and use them as background images. And I had that set up for a while, but the Vex's heads are usually tilted at a weird angle, so I can't use it exactly. So just having it side by side like this is enough for me. Ta-da! Yes, it will be glorious. Cool. Well, thanks, guys, for hanging out. Let's see. Tony's wondering, what's the basic process to go from PEP to foam? I'm wondering that myself. I don't think I do it the right way. What I did for the Draugr helmets is I printed it out on paper. I took the paper templates after I cut them all out, glued them to the foam with Elmer's glue, and then I cut out the templates again on the foam. So the templates are already cut out, but I would just cut through to the foam. And then leaving the templates on there, I glued the seams together with barge cement or super glue. I don't remember what I used. And then I actually chucked the helmets in the bathtub and turned the water on, and the template sloughed off because it was all Elmer's glue. That worked well for that. I'm not sure if it's the best way to do it. I do know that Pepakura doesn't like curves. It doesn't understand them. So like, if I try and wait, use the zipper. There we go. If I try and attach these together, it automatically pops the seam apart. So it's like you're making a hard object. Your material can't handle this. I'm like, yes, it can. It's foam. It could totally curve to that shape. So I think I've seen videos of people who will like, let's do this. Whoop. They'll leave these like little creases on purpose, and then try and, after they print them out, kind of glue them together with paper a little bit, but leave a little extra room. It's kind of like a lot of guesswork. There has to be a better way to do it. So I'm curious what I'll learn in this process, if there is a setting I'm not aware of, or if I use Maya unwrap, if it's better to be like, hey, you can still be a curve and not have to have a seam there. I mean, attaching the seams is fine. It's just like a lot of seams is a pain. For the Draugr helmets, it was fine because I covered it all in Bondo later. So it was just a base form. Oh, yeah, sorry, guys. I am ending. Yeah, it's been like an hour and a half of modeling goodness. Don't you worry, though. After I end this, it automatically gets uploaded to YouTube. So you can just go watch it there. We'll probably throw it up on our PunishedProps.com page. And live streams like this are supported by our Patreon. You guys are super awesome. And we always do our Prop Live Q&A, but we've started to have more time to do extra content. We now have a chat room. This is all thanks to your guys' support. Like there's Bill modeling his beautiful Titan chest armor. So these are normal Prop Live episodes where we're just live doing whatever. But usually on Thursdays around 5 p.m. PST, we'll do our Prop Live Q&A where we have a guest on. So those are our Prop Live Q&A episodes. But we'd love to do more Prop Live episodes. We're getting really close to our next milestone, which is guaranteed shows from the shop. So like Bill's working downstairs. I can hear he's using the disc sander sometimes. And you can just watch him work and he'll chat with you while he's working. That does take up time. So it's one of those things where we have to reach our next milestone to guarantee that we have enough time to have consistent live episodes. But thanks guys for supporting us. This has been great. We've been having a lot of fun, and it's just neat to share the behind the scenes and all the crazy stuff that we do, because it's amazing how like you'll be working on a project and like head down, not communicate with the world, not take any progress pictures, and then show up at a convention like, ta-da, I did it, I got it done. And then someone asks you how you made it and you're like, I don't even remember. I took no pictures. And this is just a great way to, you know, like get everyone in on the process, which I think is awesome, because then we can all make awesome costumes together. And now I have to finish this costume because I showed it to you, so it gives me motivation. Cool. This costume has to be done Labor Day. What is Labor Day? It is end of August. It's usually what? It's September 4th, right? Yeah. So I only have a couple months to get this done. I always say this, but it's like, I think I'm gonna be done with plenty of time. And that usually means I'm working the night before the convention. But PAX Prime is a week early this year. It's usually on Labor Day weekend, so it's like the last week of August. I would love to have it done for that, because there's this really cool setup in the back of the Seattle Convention Center that looks like Vex blocks from Destiny. And I would love to get a picture of my Vex on those fighting some Guardians, just standing on one of the blocks. And then the week after that's Dragon Con, and that's where I really want to make this costume be able to break down and go to Dragon Con with me. That's my jam. I love that convention so much. It's like a cosplay paradise. Everyone dresses up, and there's like a costume parade and huge photo shoots. So those are my goals to get done for that. It's the only costume I'm making now for that, unless there's some like silly late night one. I already have a She-Ra costume done. That'll be like my comfy costume to wear, and this will be my can hardly see her walk costume. Everyone needs one of those. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, and thanks for tuning in. I am going to end it this time, I swear. There are no more questions. I've answered them all. Yay. And yeah, I hope to do more of this in the future. Probably the next one I'll be working in the shop with more physical things and stuff. More finger joints and head pieces and feet pieces, I think, are going to be the focus. The gun, I may or may not stream. I'm trying to make that completely out of styrofoam and then enforcing it where it is needed and covering it with hard plastics. So that could be quite the learning experience for me. We'll see how it goes. Take care, guys. I'll see you next time on the next episode of Prop Live.